Hello everyone. I've never recorded a video before, so this is my first time, and I'm going to be recording this video on my Honors 189 project, comparing Japanese folklore and its adaptations into the Pokemon media with different designs of Pokemon. At its core, Pokemon is about capturing, training, and battling various fictional creatures called Pokemon. These creatures come in all shapes and sizes, each with unique abilities, types, and attributes. Many of these Pokemon are based off of famous Japanese folklore, as there's a lot of material to talk from. The first line I'm going to be talking about, first Pokemon, I'm out of focus, is the Lotad line. There's Lotad, Lombre, Ludicolo, and they're famously adapted from the yokai Kappa, which is a mischievous river spirit, actually translates to river child, and it's a mix between turtles and amphibians. These creatures are characterized by their green skin and distinctive dish-like depression on their heads, which holds water. This dish is crucial to their power, because if the water spills, the Kappa is rendered weak, and similar to Lotad's powers, it has a lily pad on its head, which is essential for how it's identified. Kappas are notorious for their trickster nature, often playing pranks on humans and animals, as they have a bizarre obsession with human anuses for whatever reason. However, Kappa are also linked to medicine and healing, with many ancient remedies being attributed to their knowledge that they would give to people. In folklore, they are said to have shared secrets of healing arts with humans, making them somewhat of a benevolent spirit despite their mischievous side. Lotad's dual nature, both playful and potentially helpful, captures the essence of this spirit. Lombre, the middle evolution, is the one that looks, in my opinion, the most like a Kappa, which it becomes a bit more human-like, slender, with that pointed beak. And then you have Ludicolo with a tropical appearance, which seems more whimsical, carefree, which is an embodiment of the Kappa's more playful nature. And that's really the whole spiel for the Lotad line. The next one is Mawile. It's a Generation 2 Steel and Fairy type. Its design is heavily based off the Fudakuchi Onna, which is a yokai known for its extra mouth that grows on the back of its head. There'll be a picture here somewhere. And the second mouth is often said to be the result of some supernatural curse or misfortune, and it has a hunger that is never satisfied. In folklore, the Fudakuchi Onna is usually depicted as a woman whose extra mouth is not just a physical deformity, but a manifestation of her hidden desires, often symbolizing a hunger for attention, resources, or even revenge. The extra mouth consumes food, and in some versions of the tale, it eats people. The Fudakuchi Onna is also tied to societal themes, often being associated with the misfortune of women, perhaps a commentary on the repressed or unseen struggles they face. Mawile, with its deceptive appearance and the carnivorous mouth on its back, evokes this duality. The main mouth on its head is sweet and innocent, luring prey into a false sense of security, while the secondary mouth hides behind it, ready to consume anything that gets too close. This design echoes the Fudakuchi Onna's portrayal as a being who may appear harmless at first, but hides a more dangerous, insatiable side. The third tale I'm going to be going over is the evolution line of Vulpix and Ninetales, which Vulpix and Ninetales, paired with another one I'll go over later, Gyarados, which is in Generation 1, are basically copy and paste. You could take the folk tale that they're based off of, pixelize it, and that's what they are. And they're based on the Kitsune foxes, which are fox spirits in Japanese folklore with the ability to shapeshift, often into human forms. Kitsune are messages for the Shinto deity Inari, and they possess magical powers that grow stronger with age. The more tails a Kitsune has, the wiser and more powerful it becomes, with some legends even suggesting that Kitsune can live up for thousands of years and grow up to 9 tails, hence the name Ninetales of the Pokemon. The common lore surrounding Kitsune is that they may be mischievous, tricking humans and leading them astray. They are also known for their cunning and use of illusions, which fits with the playful and often deceptive nature of Ninetales and Vulpix. The curse associated with Kitsune's tails is also represented in Pokemon lore. According to some tales, if one were to touch the tail of a Kitsune, they would be cursed for 1,000 years, often condemned to suffer in misery. This element of Kitsune's powers to curse or bless humans aligned with Ninetales' own mystical and potentially dangerous nature, as well as the often tricky or enigmatic behavior exhibited by these Pokemon. Kitsune are often portrayed as guardians or protectors, but they can also be vengeful, and with the same duality can be seen in how Vulpix and Ninetales interact with the world around them. The next one, switching sides for this one, out of focus again, is Whiscash, which is directly inspired by the Onomazu, not quite copy and paste because it's still an original idea, but it's a giant catfish from Japanese folklore, and Whiscash is a giant catfish in Pokemon. The Onomazu is said to live beneath the earth, particularly beneath the seas and swamps, and it is responsible for causing earthquakes whenever it thrashes or moves. The Onomazu is a symbol of power of nature, specifically the uncontrollable and unpredictable forces that can shake the world beneath our feet. In some versions of the myth, the Onomazu is trapped by the gods under a large rock or stone, but its thrashing still causes earthquakes, symbolizing the latent power of nature that can never be fully contained. Whiscash embodies this mythical creature with its long whiskers, which resemble the sensory barbels of a catfish, aquatic nature, and connection to seismic activity. The idea that Whiscash can create earthquakes when disturbed, much like Onomazu, thrashing beneath the earth, draws a clear parallel between the Pokemon and the legend. Whiscash's role in the Pokemon world as a water and ground-type Pokemon specifically further ties it to the myth, as the Onomazu is also associated with the earth, water, and the force of nature. Magikarp and Gyarados. This is another one, like with Ninetales. You just take it from the folklore, copy and paste it into the game. That's what you get. And Magikarp evolves into Gyarados. The evolution of Magikarp into Gyarados is a direct reference to the legendary myth of the carp transforming into a dragon after swimming up a waterfall. This myth symbolizes perseverance, determination, and the potential for extraordinary transformation. According to the legend, a carp that can successfully swim upstream and jump over the Dragon Gate waterfall will transform into a powerful dragon. And once you see the pictures, you know, like, they're completely different, look nothing alike. This tale is deeply ingrained in Japanese and Chinese culture and has been adopted into various other East Asian traditions. The story of the carp represents the journey of personal growth, where persistence in the face of adversity is eventually rewarded with great power. In this context, Magikarp's perceived weakness is a metaphor for the humble beginning, while Gyarados' fearsome form represents the immense potential that can emerge through perseverance. The leap over the waterfall, the ultimate moment of transformation, mirrors Magikarp's evolution into Gyarados, embodying the triumph of hard work and determination. The dragon, a symbol of power and wisdom in Asian culture, serves as the ultimate reward for overcoming life's greatest challenges, just as Gyarados is the ultimate reward for Magikarp's persistence. The final individual Pokemon I'm talking about is Frostlass, which is one of my favorite that I can nerd out about, which it is based... It's here, by the way. I know I didn't do that. But it's based on the Yuki-onna, which is a ghostly spirit in Japanese folklore known as the Snow Woman. The Yuki-onna is often depicted as a beautiful, icy figure who appears in snowstorms, luring travelers to their doom. She is a silent and chilling presence, known for her ability to freeze people with her icy breath or to lead them into the cold to die. Kind of morbid. The Yuki-onna is associated with the dangers of the winter landscape and the lost travelers who succumb to the cold, never to be seen again. So this is just an explanation for why people go missing. Frostlass, with her ghostly, icy appearance, she's a ghost and ice type, and Frostlass can only be female in the games, so it just further attributes to that. And powers to freeze her victims closely mirrors the Yuki-onna's deadly nature. Her ethereal form and the haunting aura she gives off, combined with her ability to control ice, embody the cold, merciless spirit of the Yuki-onna. Frostlass's role as a ghostly figure who preys on the lost and weak travelers align perfectly with the myth of the Yuki-onna, who exists to claim the souls of those who wander too far into the cold. And these Pokemon and their designs and folklore inspirations reflect a deep connection to Japanese folklore and cultural symbolism, adding layers of meaning to their appearances and abilities. They blend elements of nature, spirits, and human experience, creating Pokemon that are not just creatures, but embodiments of ancient myths and teachings. So the real question for this project is, why were they adapted the way that they were? And Pokemon is a multimedia franchise created by Satoshi Tajiri and Ken Sugimori, and first launched by Nintendo and Game Freak in 1996. It began as a video game series for the Game Boy, but it quickly expanded into a global phenomenon encompassing trading card games, TV shows, movies, toys, and more. Originally, this was the creation of Pokemon was an attempt to make a little bit of money, so they implemented much Japanese folklore, almost copy and paste, like I mentioned earlier, specifically first generation, because after the first generation, it kind of gained traction and started going off. And to appeal to their Japanese audience for a quick buck. And the franchise really was not supposed to go past the second games. There was a storage issue where there would be too much to make more than what would be required in 2 generations, but someone on the development team was able to fix that issue, so now they have 10 generations and it's still going on today. And once they were solved, the game gained far more international attention. Once they got to like Gold and Silver, Ruby and Sapphire, Diamond Pearl, so on and so forth. And so then Nintendo decided to be more original with their ideas, actually making original Pokemon and not just taking the designs from Japanese folklore and putting them onto a screen, and and not just doing that. And they also had to adapt their games and in-game lore to match with the family-friendly rating that their company preached about. Originally, there wasn't a true audience, so they didn't have to be careful with the adaptations, as well as copyright laws weren't extremely viable with video games and weren't extremely pronounced. But once there was more popularity, these adaptation changes needed to be made to fulfill the needs of their newly gained audience of younger supervised generations. The strategy seemed to work out for them because, it's 28 years later and they're still an extremely successful company, being one of the highest grossing companies in the world when you combine the profits from their toys, games, anime, and cards, any other possible memorabilia that you can think of. I got most of these sources. I'll just put them on the screen somewhere throughout the video, or just pop them up, jump scare. But my friend Dalen is helping me edit this, so he's getting credited as well. And I keep going out of focus again, which is sad. But I hope this video was able to give some valuable insight into a topic I like to nerd out about, because I've been a fairly big fan of Pokemon since I was a little kid, because I always thought it was cool. I don't care if some people think it's lame, they're lame. And how Japanese culture has been impacted by it, and how Japanese culture affected it. And to whoever may be watching this, thank you for watching, and peace out.